We can't stop because everything that's happening poses a direct threat to us. We see NATO at our borders. We see how NATO has become consolidated. In other words, now all the masks are off. If they were preparing aggression against us and tried to cook us like a frog, gradually heating up the water, then fortunately we broke through those plans, exposed them, and we were able to come together and resist. As a result of this conflict, we have already gained territory, well, 20% of Ukraine's territory, but we've talked about this a lot. We have begun a very serious purge within the country, a major change of elites, although of course the so-called creative elite is still lagging behind. As for them, to put it politely, there are still a lot of questions. We still have a lot to do. But when people say, what about our economy? No, we are actually the winners here. Here the winner takes it all. If we accomplish the tasks set before us, then we will see enormous economic growth in the future because completely new opportunities will open up and the restructured framework of our industry will be oriented differently. But for this, once again, a lot needs to change, including in our information policy and our ideological campaign. This will inevitably follow as more and more people who have gone through the special military operation enter positions of power. Of course, all of this will happen. All of this is already underway because it is very important that this process of elite renewal is happening now without waiting for the end of the war against NATO, which is taking place on the territory of Ukraine. And the world is clearly and unmistakably preparing for long and drawn-out wars. In order to avoid this period of prolonged warfare, it will inevitably move to a stage where a limited nuclear conflict is, unfortunately, bound to break out. At the same time, it is important to recognize that this type of limited nuclear conflict may not actually or inevitably escalate into a full-scale global one. This outcome is contingent, however, on the critical condition that there is no direct military confrontation involving the geopolitical triangle of Russia, China, and the United States of America. Therefore, as just one example, a targeted strike on Europe with tactical nuclear weapons or non-nuclear weapons of a comparable destructive power, which would be intended to destroy critical military infrastructure that is directly serving Ukraine's interests, or foreign military contingents that are preparing to enter or are in fact already present on Ukrainian territory, would not necessarily lead to the immediate escalation of this particular conflict to a global level. Furthermore, it is important to emphasize that this is not the full story. Even if a number of European capitals were wiped off the face of the earth, the ability to respond would be severely limited to the forces and means available exclusively to European countries. That is precisely why, in parallel with this kind of strike,